Welcome to the Ricecast. I'm your host, Dan Pigsley. Sitting across from me is my friend and yours, Pastor Willie Rice. Pastor, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Doing great. Starting to warm up outside.
It is.
It's May, and it feels like May.
It does. Well, yeah. I can't imagine what August is going to feel like.
The spring
yeah.
has left us behind, I'm afraid.
Honestly, I mean, you got to spend a lot of time outside just a few minutes ago. We were with some of the other pastors in the after. Yeah, it was good. So
it was warm. I guess that's what's on my mind. It was a little
hot. So how was your week? Good week?
Been a great week. Obviously, great time at Calvary, getting ready for Mother's Day this week, and in the current series, which I know all of our campus pastors are doing, Built to Last. And so we've had an eventful time. We had a staff planning retreat last week, a few days ago. So it's been a busy couple of weeks. And as we look forward to Mother's Day, and then a couple of weeks after that, Graduate Sunday, graduation year with CCHS, and then, of course, all the seniors across the county. So May is always a busy month, and right around the corner is VBS and camps and all the things that happen at summer here at Calvary.
I feel like we just did all that stuff. We get to do it again this year.
We get to do it again, and it's always awesome. Fantastic.
Always fun.
It is.
But another cool thing with CCHS, softball and baseball are just making
both
a run.
In there. The baseball lost last night.
Oh, did they? Okay.
But they're not out.
Right.
They will play. I'm glad I don't know when people will listen to this, but on Thursday night, what is today? Tomorrow night.
The 8th, I guess?
Today is the 8th.
Today's the 7th.
Today's the 7th.
Yeah,
Thank
there you
you.
go. Yeah.
We don't know. We're just talking here. Today's the 7th.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night is, and I think actually we have a softball game tonight. And I know Wednesday night's a church night, but we don't get any say in when the playoffs are. The FHSAA controls that. So I think our girls are actually here tonight. So if you show up tonight, you might see a softball game going out there. Maybe if it's still going on after church, sneak over there.
And run out.
The girls are fantastic. They've only lost one game all year, and they're in the tournament. And then the boys will be playing a deciding game tomorrow night, which will be the 8th of May here against Bishop Verot High School from Fort Myers. They split 2 games down there, and this is a best-of-3 series. So they got to win this one to go on to the next level.
Which has been interesting with high school baseball. They just started that, I think, this year, the series. Which it's a lot for those kids, in my opinion.
We're all not sure if we like it.
Yeah.
But I think after this, then it's single elimination.
Is
it's
it?
Like I can't keep up with all, but I think you're in the Final Four, and then it's just play 2 games, see who wins.
Yeah.
But I think the girls are also, single elimination at this point. I think. Don't hold me to it, but they're big games.
It's big.
So if you're looking for good baseball, good softball, and maybe you're coming to church tonight, come a little early. I don't even know what the time the game is tonight, but you can see it on the website. CCHS.us will have it. But you're right. Our kids are playing great. We had a spring musical here. The kids did great. It's just our school is doing great, and it's an exciting time of year here in May.
How are you feeling after Easter? You feel rested? You feel ready to go? Ready for summer?
I feel excited. Easter, of course, a couple weeks ago was a great week, and late this year. So, as soon as it was over, we're running toward Mother's Day and all the stuff. But no, it's an exciting time of year, and very blessed with all that God's doing.
Well, we spent a lot of time on the podcast. We've spent the past few weeks really just diving into some issues, not even issues, just conversations that are happening around the church. We did it a few weeks ago. We talked about biblical manhood. We've talked about a few other things. It's been great. But there's something happening here in Clearwater that was brought to my attention a few days ago, and then you actually posted something about it today. And I would love just to talk about this Save the Garden initiative.
Yeah, this kind of, one of the things that's fun about a podcast like this, we get to talk about some issues that are hard to talk about on Sunday morning. Some aren't even the thing you should talk about on Sunday morning. But this is a current event happening in the city of Clearwater, of course, where Calvary is, our legacy campus. I don't know if we have the exact word for it, but our mother campus. And but Calvary's been the oldest church in the city of Clearwater, and was located in downtown Clearwater for many decades. And so we have a vested interest, and everybody does, in what's happening in Clearwater. It's one of the 2 biggest cities in our county, and people across Pinellas County are interested in what's happening. But this issue just kind of happened out of nowhere. At least I didn't see it coming. I didn't have anything to do with it, really. Just all of a sudden I heard people concerned about it, and just because people, there's always people concerned about various things. But the more I learned about this, the more interested I became.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that there are some folks here at our church who have really done a great job making people aware of this issue and really offering some positive alternatives to an issue that is coming before our city council in the next few days. So it's very appropriate that we should take maybe a little time to talk about it.
So let's just start at the very beginning. So city of Clearwater, obviously we know Calvary's been here for almost 160 years. Like we're coming up close to that, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
So great legacy standing here. And then I would say, I don't know, a decade or so ago, another organization kind of moved into.
Well, it's about 50. Is it the 1970s?
Well, that's what I don't know.
They came
I'm here
in,
to learn.
Yeah, 1970s. It goes back. You're just not old enough to know all that.
That might be it.
But late 70s, and everyone knows it's not an elephant in the room.
No.
It's a circus in the room. Everybody knows, so you might as well talk about it.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before here. I've been, they've posted things about me. I've said things about them, but the Church of Scientology, and I don't like to call them a church. It's not a church;
Right.
is a Christian word.
Right.
You don't have the Church of Islam or the Church of Judaism, or those are religions. Church is a Christian word. It's a New Testament word. So there are groups that use it that aren't Christians, but I don't. They're not really a church. So I'll just call it the organization of Scientology. Sometimes I've referred to it as a cult because I think it is a classic definition of a cult. But I'll just say the organization of Scientology.
Okay.
And they moved into Clearwater, we know, under false pretenses in the 70s, bought up a lot of land, and everybody in this county knows it. People around the world know about it. That they have really now dominated the real estate landscape in downtown Clearwater. They've bought up, I'm told, as much as $250 million worth of property in downtown Clearwater. A lot of it is not owned by them directly, but it is controlled by them.
Right.
It's owned by various wealthy parishioners that have bought up and control property. So, and they've boasted about this in private. I've talked to city council members who'll tell you they more or less boast about. They like to say they don't control it all, but they pretty much acknowledge they do. They do. They control massive amounts of real estate, so much so that downtown Clearwater has been, many would say, ruined. Ruined. Or at least, if not ruined, it has been held back from what would be progress. So that is the background of this episode that's happening this spring, that the organization of Scientology owns millions of dollars of real estate in downtown Clearwater, and now they want another street.
Yeah, and I was reading, so it's like 101 acres as of 2019. I think I read earlier this morning, and it's 185 some odd properties that they own right now in downtown Clearwater, and
most of it, by the way, since empty, as ex-Scientologists have alleged. And all you really got to do is walk around and walk around at night, and I'm not telling you to peep in the windows the way you're not supposed to, but you can just look around and you can tell. And there ain't nobody in there. They have a lot of money. They've made some beautiful facades, but there's not a lot of activity down there. And indeed, one of the things that ex-Scientologists allege is that they don't want non-Scientologists down there. This is not. They're not buying up buildings in order to develop restaurants and entertainment and shopping. They're not. No. They're buying up these buildings to keep that from happening, and they have effectively done that. So if you go to downtown Tampa or you go to downtown St. Petersburg, you probably have taken Sarah there on date nights. That's occasionally you go, hey, let's go down to Armature Works. Let's go down to Tampa.
Brava is her thing.
Let's go down to St. Petersburg. Walk around. It's a lively atmosphere, live music, beautiful restaurants, and shopping. It's a fun night, right? But nobody in 25 years, no one, literally, in Pinellas County has woken up and said, it's Friday night. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's go to downtown Clearwater and walk around. No one.
Right.
Now, I know there's some nice restaurants down there, and they're in an uphill struggle, and so please go to the restaurants. But you know what I'm saying. Nobody really says, let's go walk around downtown Clearwater. It's a ghost town.
Right.
It's a bunch of empty buildings, and this is the lion. Again, this is the elephant in the room. I said it's a circus in the room that every politician should know about in Clearwater. Everybody who lives in Clearwater knows about it. I've talked to politicians, including the mayor of Clearwater, who's a member of our church, a dear friend, and doing a great job, and the mayor before him also was a member of Calvary. And they will tell you, if you just go door to door and talk to people, they will tell you the number one issue on the minds of people in the city of Clearwater is the negative impact of the organization of Scientology on the reputation and the physical presence of it in the downtown Clearwater area. Number one.
Yeah. So what's interesting about this kind of initiative, this really grassroots movement that started, I think it started a few weeks ago, maybe a few months ago, where there was a piece of property for sale in Clearwater called Garden Avenue, correct?
Yep.
And from what I've kind of learned and read is Scientology's offered a little over $1 million to purchase this street, this road, and it was kind of, I don't want to say under the table, but it wasn't a huge, it wasn't publicized.
Yeah, people didn't know what was happening.
They didn't know what was happening, right?
There are certain rules you have to publicize this, and they publish it in the paper. But who's reading the paper? I mean, and it's like, and who's reading that section of the paper? So it flies under the radar. Most of this stuff, you and I didn't know about it.
No,
I wouldn't have known about it today, except somebody did catch it, and they wanted to vacate Garden Avenue, which is a street kind of in the downtown core, which is near some of their buildings. They own a lot of property around it, but they wanted to vacate it in order to include it in their construction plans. They want to build a huge auditorium. They've been saying this for a number of years. To honoring L. Ron Hubbard. Believe me, no one should be honoring him with anything.
Right.
But anyway, that's another issue. We can talk about it, but they want to build a huge auditorium and then some kind of outdoor memorial right there in the downtown area to honor this man who really, again, should not be honored with anything. But anyway, that's their system, and that's what they want to do. And it kind of was probably going to happen because the city council, the city leaders it was a land deal, right? How much is the land worth? And they, haggle back and forth. And so eventually Scientology, was a lot of money, was going to just pay for the Garden Avenue. And then some people kind of heard about it at the last minute. They go, wait a second. We didn't know, first of all, it was for sale.
Right.
It wasn't ever really put up for sale. They just wanted to close the street. And if it's for sale, we'd love, and they kind of swept in at the last minute to say, if it's for sale, we'll buy it.
Yep.
And we've got a better plan. And they do have a better plan. And that has become the issue. But now they need a majority of the city council to approve the plan. And we don't know how that'll go. And that vote will be next week. It's going to be, it's like 2-3 one way. And so we need some of the city council to flip and vote for the citizens of Clearwater and not for the organization of Scientology.
Right. And so this movement, I think we can talk about who's leading this movement, correct? So, I think Brooks Gibbs, I think his name is.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the website. Yeah. Some of these are people who are at Calvary. This is not, I'm not leading it. They're not getting directions from my office. It's not like a Calvary-led thing. But we have some people, and you can read about them on the website. We don't need to go through all of them, but we have some people very involved in our city here at Clearwater. But Brooks Gibbs, his wife Jill, Brooks is front and center there on the website. So there's no it's not a secret thing. But several citizens and people who are not at Calvary. Again, they did this kind of on their own.
Right.
They got together and said, hey, wait a second. We should not be selling them any more property. We can't control it when they buy private property. Right. But why are we selling them public property that the people of Clearwater own and control, and you have to get a vote to sell it? And so, then somebody said, well, their money's green, like they want to buy, it's an appraised value. And so they said, well, we've got a better plan, and they do have a better plan. And that has become the SaveTheGarden.org. And so I'll say it a couple of times in this podcast. If you want more information about this, they have produced some fantastic videos, lots of information. There's a couple of events happening over the next week, including Saturday, a very important rally. SaveTheGarden.org. That's what you want to go to on your website, SaveTheGarden.org. And that will give you all kinds of information about what's happening, the background of this, and the alternative proposal that these citizens of Clearwater are pitching.
And so what I've read, I think it's even on their website, is Garden Avenue was actually historically a huge, it has a lot of historic value for the city of Clearwater, where it's really an African-American community was very vibrant. vibrant there.
There was apparently you go back and Garden Avenue was a historic business corridor back when the downtown was thriving, and part of that area, apparently I didn't know this, was also part of the African American history of Clearwater. It was one of the big areas where a lot of African American businesses were and so forth. So what's beautiful about this is several groups of people have teamed up to say, first of all, we shouldn't be selling more public property to the organization of Scientology. They are not helping the city. They've hurt the city. If they wanted to develop their property, and here's one of the things they tell the politicians, and I've talked to some of them, and they always tell the politicians, we're going to have this massive development in downtown Clearwater. We're going to bring in businesses. We're going to bring in all this. Well, it's a smokescreen. If they wanted to do that, they would have done it. They could do it with or without Garden Avenue, believe me. But as everyone who comes out of Scientology will tell you, they really want the opposite. They don't want to develop it. They don't want people down there. So again, and it's proof they just haven't developed it. These buildings sit empty. So first of all, we shouldn't be selling more property to them that we can control.
Right.
Secondly, we should remember what happened here. And what you see on the website, this is a beautiful effort. Why not create a public park-like area, a public memorial area on this street, which you see in so many downtowns there. You can see this in Tampa. You've walked on Riverwalk. You see where you stop and you read about the history of Tampa. I love it. Well, they imagine a place like that in Clearwater where you could get history of Clearwater and by the way, maybe even Calvary was there for many, many years, as you know. Our founding pastor and could be talked about. You could talk about the history of Clearwater, and in this specific area to remember the African American history of our city as well. I think it's a beautiful thing. You have all these different groups saying, wait a second, we've lost the downtown area. And I saw this on their website, and Brooks said this, and he's a very bright man, and Dr. Gibbs, and he said something I thought was very good. He said, first of all, we need to grieve the loss of what we had.
Yeah.
There needs to be a time, and we really do. Number two, we need to memorialize the past. We need to remember what was lost. And so we don't want to just lose Garden Avenue. Why not put something there that helps people remember? And then number three, we need to build a new downtown. And again, by we, I'm not talking about we, the church. I'm talking about we, the people in Clearwater business. We need a new downtown corridor. And you know what? We can do that. But you're not going to do that by giving more space away. So that's what this effort is about. I'm so proud of these people who have come together. They're doing it. I'm not doing it. And but once I heard about it, I said, hey, how can I help you? And they said, well, you could publicize it, help people know about it. So I posted something on Facebook, and we're doing this podcast. But the biggest thing, go to savethegarden.org, savethegarden.org, and you can learn all about it. And they have a big rally this coming Saturday, which would be May 10th. And if you're available, I'm not. I've got a wedding I'm doing Saturday, so I can't be there. But there's a rally, maybe even a prayer walk for those who are praying people. We're praying people, but for those who are not, they can come, walk around, and hear about what's going on. And then there's some events next week. I think there's an opportunity where this group is presenting their vision to the city council. And then I think Thursday night is when the city council votes. And, these are public forums, not telling people what to do. But you know what? These councilmen, they're there because you put them there. Right? They're there because you voted, and maybe you voted for these people. And by the way, they're good people. They're trying to do their. I'm not accusing them of ill motives, but some of them, maybe just walked into this thinking, it's a business deal, no big deal. And now things have changed. And I would say to them, the councilmen, I'm sure they listen to the podcast every week. I would say, you know what? It's okay to change your mind. In fact, people, it's refreshing to see a public figure go, hey, I thought this, but then I heard this. I considered some facts I hadn't considered. I've had to do this. Believe me, it takes a minute to get off your high horse. I know, but when somebody in leadership goes, you know what? I heard from people. I processed the information. I thought about it, and I realized, hey, wait a second. People really are upset about this, and this is an opportunity now for the citizens of Clearwater. And gosh, I think I'll change my vote and support the good people of Clearwater who want to remember their city, want to memorialize the past. And by the way, this is a good deal for the city now. You can't argue, well, I'm making the best deal for taxpayers. Well, they're offering to buy the street.
Right.
They're offering it. And I think, again, I'm not an expert. I'm not in the leadership group of this, but I think they would either allow the city to keep owning it and they would build a park around it, raise the money, or they'll buy the street if they have to buy the street, and they'll develop it quicker than the organization of Scientology says they'll develop it. So this is a win-win. And I hope all the politicians, we have some politicians, the guys who have voted against it, Mike Menino is one of those. Ryan Cotton is one of those. David Albertson is one of those. I've met all these men. They're good men. And I'm grateful for David Albritton, who actually changed his vote to give time to consider this. So really appreciate him. I think that takes a lot of guts to go, hey, I was going to vote for this, but this came up at the last minute, and, these people deserve to be heard. So thank you, David Albritton, for doing that. That's commendable. Well, hopefully now he'll look at this, and Ryan Cotton will, Mike Minion. You know what would be great? Here's what I would say to them. Wouldn't it be great if it was a 5-0 vote?
Yeah.
Like, it should be a 5-0 vote. And everybody's a winner. Everybody's a winner except the organization of Scientology. But honestly, they can do everything they want to do without this street. So they don't even lose, to be honest with you. But, it really should be a 5-0 vote. Every one of those city councilmen should listen to the people of Clearwater, listen to the citizens, and say, you know what, I didn't know it was a big deal, now I do. Hey, I listened, I learned, I'm changing my mind. I'm voting for the people of Clearwater, and I'm voting for the history of the city of Clearwater. And I hope all of them will. They could all be winners. Everybody walks away a winner. And these are good people, and I hope if they look at the facts, they'll go, okay, I didn't see it that way. Now I do. And let's give a win here. Yeah. And somebody may say, hey, this is a small thing, and all that. And they got all these hundreds of acres. You never know when a small thing becomes a big thing. You never know when one act of kind of courage and saying, no, we're not going to sell more public property to this organization. You never know when that becomes, something that all of a sudden the tide begins to turn and people realize, you know what? Look, they have a right to be here. We understand that, but they have not been a good member of our community. That's just the reality. This is not about their theological beliefs, which I could talk about and have. We have a lot of people with differing beliefs, and their people probably think we're crazy for some of the beliefs we have. But it's about their behavior. It's about what they've done to families, and it's about what they've done to the city of Clearwater. Yeah. And that's why you need to stand up and go, okay, we're not going to let you have more property. The ones that we can control. You can't control private property when they show up and they've got cash and pay people twice as much as it's worth. Okay, I understand that's hard to control. But we can control public property. Yeah. And we should. We need our city council, and I want to say this very clearly. I don't say this often. You know that. Yeah. We need our city council to grow a spine and to take a stand right here.
Huge. And I think that's such a good word. And the more you really look into what Dr. Gibbs is doing, this Save the Garden movement, it's really not anti-anyone. It's just pro-community.
Yeah, it really is.
And that's what it seems like.
That's a beautiful thing about it. And I'm sure he would say it's not just his movement. It's like a whole movement of people. They just kind of got together. Yeah. And it's like somebody they didn't know, like we didn't know Garden Street was up for sale. Yeah. And now you realize it is. You go, well, you know what? We could do something that's actually pro-community. And they brought all these various groups together and who are saying, but that's a good idea. Everybody wins. It's open. It's public. It's a park. It memorializes the past. And again, the reality is the organization of Scientology can build their building. You can't stop them, I don't think, from doing that as long as they do it according to code. Right. They're going to be able to do whatever they want to do. And if they wanted to develop downtown, they could do that. They could have done that 5 years ago. I understand they've got a big presentation and pretty pictures and, all that. But they could do all of that. They're not doing it, and they're not going to do it. And if they do it, we'll get on here and I'll eat my words and say, you know what? They changed. Yeah. I told somebody, I said, if they wanted to change their reputation in Clearwater, it would be pretty easy. And I kind of hate to give them free advice, but here it goes.
They're all listening.
So. I know. I hate to give them free advice. Well, they may be. But so here's the free advice. Yeah. You could literally change your reputation in this city in 2 years. In 2 years. And honestly, kind of hate to see it, but you could change your reputation in 2 years. Just start being a good neighbor. Open up the buildings in downtown Clearwater. Let businesses come. Probably should give them sweetheart deals. And all of a sudden, there would be a renaissance in downtown Clearwater. And it'd be a fun place to visit. And quit being mean to people. Quit practicing disconnection and threatening families and threatening critics. Just stop it. No one cares anymore. And just stop it. And in 2 or 3 years, you know what people would say? They'd say, well, you know what? They didn't behave that well, decades ago. But they've started to get along with everybody. They're actually not that bad. And now they're a good member of the community. Literally 2 years, you could change your reputation. Just change it. Just change it. I'm not trying to give them a good advice, but that's good advice. Just change it. Just quit being mean to people. Quit doing crazy things. And quit trying to buy up the city of Clearwater and shut it down. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the people of this city, and it belongs to the people of this county, and we have great memories there. You're never going to own it all. I pray you won't. You own most of it, but you're never going to own it all. And so we're going to, while you've been able to kind of ruin it, people are still going to come down. We got the amphitheater is open down there now. You got the harbor down there now. And I think that was really smart of our city leaders to put things down there that people will come to. And who knows, boy, that downtown could boom.
It could.
And by the way, they would win. They would win a lot of goodwill, but we would all win too. It would the city of Clearwater. It would be a win-win.
For the members of our congregation that are listening today, what would you say to them? Like, what can they do to really get involved? Because this, honestly, this is probably maybe the first time a lot of our people are hearing about this, because it has been kind of a quiet thing. So we have these, you mentioned they have a rally on the 10th of May, this Saturday, so we would tell everyone to go. But there's also a petition to sign. What does that petition do? I mean,
I don't even know about the petition. I honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I'd go to SaveTheGarden.org and do it. That's where you'll get all the information. If there's I don't even know anything about a petition.
Yeah,
I haven't signed
it. Yeah, I haven't signed it yet.
So,
but
SaveTheGarden.org. I'd go on that website. I'd see what they're doing. The city council, you may know these men. These are good people. I mean, they're not trying to hurt the city clear. I'm not questioning their motives or their character. I just think they need to see this issue from a different perspective. And that doesn't make them bad or make them my enemy. I know them. But I would say go on, if you just Google Clearwater City Council, you will see the 5 members of our city council. They'll have their websites, maybe even their phone numbers or their email on there. Email them. Call them. If you know them, call them. And it'd be great to have hundreds of emails in the next week, right? Yeah. Their emails are all on there, and tell them how you feel. Don't be mean. Don't be snarky. They're not enemies. So don't insult anybody. Just say, listen, I know the issue has come up. I'm sure there are complexities I don't understand, but we need to not be selling any more property to the organization of Scientology, and you've got a great alternative now.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if there were no alternative, and you're going, hey, we can either make money or not make money, and they could argue it's a business deal. Well, now there's a better alternative. So how can you not take that alternative?
For sure.
At that point, you begin to wonder, well, what's the real motive? So I hope that all of these good men will reconsider their position, and if you know them, call them, send them an email. Again, don't harass them. I'm not asking you to do that, but send emails. And maybe go to the city council meeting. I don't know. It'll be packed out probably. But then don't go and act like a bad person. Don't
add to the circus.
Don't add to the circus. Yeah. But if you want to say something, say something. Jerry Falwell used to say, if a politician won't see the light, you just turn up the heat. And I don't mean that in an ugly, threatening way. I just mean, hey, let them know you care.
Yeah.
So many times these people are trying to serve us in public life, and they don't hear the voice of the people until it's too late, or people are mad or angry. You don't need to be mad. You don't need to be angry. You don't need to insult anybody. Don't do that. No, don't do that. But you can forcefully and clearly say, please listen to the voices of the people of Clearwater. This is a great alternative. You've been handed a win. Don't drop it. Yeah. You've been handed the ball at the 2-yard line. All you got to do is walk it in the end zone. And Dan, if you get handed the ball, you're an old football player. You get the ball at the 2-yard line, just walk it in. Don't get fancy.
Yep.
Don't do a flip. Don't get fancy. Don't do a reverse. No, just go in. And they need to just take the ball in and go, hey, I didn't see it maybe initially, but now I do. The people have spoken, and let's give the people of Clearwater a big win. Everybody will be happy, and we'll move forward. It'd be a great thing. So I'm glad we got a chance to talk about it, and I hope people will listen.
I think they will, Pastor. I really do. And, it kind of reminds me, I was just making sure I had the reference right. I just was thinking of this verse. So when Jeremiah is writing to the nation of Israel right before they go into captivity in Babylon, and as they're going in, he says, pray for or seek out the welfare of the city which you are being sent to, and pray that the Lord is good to them. Pray for their benefit. That's kind of where we're at now. Seeking the welfare, like make sure that you have a voice.
You care about your city.
You care about
and these were Jewish people in Babylon.
Yeah,
they hated Babylon.
Right.
But at some point, and we've preached on this, Jeremiah reminded them, you're going to be there a while.
Yep.
So you may not have wanted to be in Babylon, but there you are. Help the city. Seek the welfare of the city. Be a blessing to the city. And we want to. And by the way, we have a number of people on our task force. We have kind of an informal task force that we've appointed that helps us with public policy and community affairs. Dan and Kelly Meyer are involved in that, and some other people. And what I've asked them to do is simply make us aware of community issues, political issues, so our people can be informed, and they can vote and intelligently, and they can be involved in our community affair. We care about our city. And by the way, even if you don't live in Clearwater, you should care about Clearwater. It affects the rest of the county. And so this is an opportunity for our city council to do something that is good and right for the whole city, the whole county. It really isn't even punishing the organization of Scientology. If you're like, well, I want them to stick a finger in their eye. This probably doesn't do that. It just tells them no. And they can do everything they want to do. And if they wanted to redevelop the downtown, they could do that. But what this does do is say, we're not going to give you any more property. Right. It's public property. We're not going to give you any more public property. This is for the people. This is for the people. So I hope that'll happen. And I hope the people of Clearwater, people listening to this, share this podcast. Yeah. And get that. You can read a letter we put on Facebook, but go to that website, savethegarden.org, pass it around, look at it. Be great if a lot of people came out over the weekend to that rally and just got involved in the community. Yeah. You don't have to be angry. Don't have to be mean. Just get involved and let your voice be heard. You can make a difference. You can. And I think that's a great word, Pastor. Well, I appreciate just your knowledge on this, and just a challenge to our people. Just we're not called just to sit back and do nothing. Like when we see something we can get involved in it, but be peaceful about it. And obviously start with prayer, but then continue to engage, continue to do what you can. So email our politicians, get on the website. There's a petition you can look into there. And there's a lot of facts. They did a great job with some videos on there. They did fantastic. Just about their vision for what that area can be. And really just it's really very inspiring. It really honestly is. I promise you, I get things, people believe me, people send me stuff all the time. And some videos are, whatever. But it's very inspiring. Yeah. You listen to those videos, you'll come away going, oh, wow, I'm very inspired. You'll be motivated if you'll listen to those videos. It motivates you because it develops a love that you have for your city that might be hidden right now. That's right. That's a very good point. Yeah. And that's what we want. We want to love our city, whether you're here in Clearwater, so we're all in this together. Yep. And so, just make your voice heard. I think that's a great word, Pastor. If you're listening to the podcast right now, you have time. The votes, I think, next Thursday. Thursday night, 15th, savethegarden.org. Awesome. Well, I hope you guys have a great week this week. Look forward to talking to you next week, Pastor, as we continue just to dialogue about our church, about our community, and about what the Lord's doing. God bless you. Have a great one.